Hey everyone, this is Jason Stash Olson from Booker T's Reality of Wrestling, and you're listening to Houston Wrestling Radio with Abel and Travis.
Hey there, this is Tex Lone Star from Doomsday Wrestling.
And this is Dr. Sanchez.
And you are listening to Houston Wrestling Radio with Travis and Abel.
This is Robbie Gilmore of Booker T's Reality of Wrestling, and you are listening to Houston Wrestling Radio.
Hello, welcome everyone to another edition of Houston Wrestling Radio. This is Abel.
And this is Travis.
Thanks so much for tuning in today, guys. We really appreciate it. I don't know if you're listening to us on our website, HoustonWrestlingRadio.com, or on iTunes, or even on YouTube. But however you're listening to us, thanks. We greatly appreciate it. Also, give us a follow on our Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @HWrestlingRadio. And like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Houston Wrestling Radio. Alright, well, let's see here, folks. We got quite a bit of stuff to talk about. We're still going down the road to WrestleMania. We have the fallout of the lockdown pay-per-view to talk about. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Hopefully we don't have another 2-hour-long show like we did last week.
Well, unless they listen to us for 2 hours, then we can do another 2-hour show.
I don't want to do a 2-hour show. Let me change that up then.
Well, you're the one that does all the editing around here, so
I know
it doesn't. We can do a 3-hour show for all I care.
It was a pain in the ass last week because that's pretty much what we did. We had a 3-hour show last week, and I was able to cut it down to 2 hours and 2 minutes. So,
bravo, sir.
Yes, it was quite the monumental feat. So, but this week we're not going to do that this week. At least I don't think.
Well, with our special guest interview, we might do that again.
Well, that's the thing. We don't have a special guest interview this week.
Oh, we don't?
No.
Oh, wow.
No, so it's just me and you, buddy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Folks, I'm sorry.
We're flying solo here.
Oh, no.
No. I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, we got a lot to talk about, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be alright.
Okay. We'll try to get through this.
We'll get through this. Alright. So, Trav, I ask you this every week, and I'm going to ask you this week.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to start with TNA or WWE?
What do you want to start with?
I say let's go with WWE.
Okay, let's do WWE.
Alright, cool.
Okay.
The first thing that I want to kind of get out of the way is Saturday Morning Slam officially has a new general manager, and none other than Mick Foley.
Mick Foley?
Yeah. What do you think about this, Trav?
It's a suitable choice. I mean, they could do worse. I was expecting someone that was, I don't know, actually on the roster. Maybe Santino or, somebody else that's more kid-friendly or...
More kid-friendly than Foley? Foley writes children's books, for Pete's sake.
You didn't hear what I said? On the roster.
What is it? I'd rather it be somebody not on the roster, because if it is somebody on the roster...
Let me rephrase it this way. Are you going to watch Saturday Night Morning Slam ever?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, then who cares?
I just wanted to bring that up because I like Foley, and I like the idea that Foley is the general manager of Saturday Morning Slam. There we go.
Okay.
All right. Wow, we're already getting to a heck of a start here today, folks, aren't we? All right. Main event. Let's talk about main event a little bit. Did you watch main event this week?
I recorded it on my TV.
Did you watch it?
No.
I didn't watch it either.
You call yourself a host of a podcast. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Fool, you too.
This isn't about me.
It's not about you or me. I think this is about the decline of WWE main event. Main event is just as old as our podcast.
It is.
And when we first started, we thought, okay, well, maybe main event will be sticking around for a while. And I kind of dug it. We kind of like the things that they were doing with its format and this and that. But we find ourselves not caring anymore.
Well, we're not the ones not caring. It's WWE that's not caring about this show.
Yeah, because they're not putting as much into it as they did.
Right. I think the best thing going on that still is the intro. That's about it.
That's got the best freaking music out of all the WWE shows.
Yeah. But everything that made main event special, I mean, we knew it wasn't going to last forever, but I mean, come on now. You wouldn't think it'd be that difficult to keep the format.
Yeah.
Have a big fight feel match.
Mm-hmm.
A little startup, intros with the little packages for the superstars and whatnot, and let them go for 30 minutes to an hour.
Well, probably not an hour.
Well,
let them have a longer match than they would normally have on
at least half the show.
Yeah.
At least half the show. But now this is getting to the point where they just announced the matches on the show. They have at least 2 other filler matches after that.
It's usually 2 matches, period.
Well, the last couple weeks is 3 matches.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't even know, because I don't even care anymore. It's like back to like 5-minute matches and then like Raw recaps and SmackDown recaps.
Right.
And we said this at the beginning of WrestleMania season that, it looks like main event's just turning into a recap show. And hopefully...
Well, so SmackDown.
Well, let's not get to SmackDown yet. Hopefully after WrestleMania season is over with, they get back to normal. But right now, things on main event are pretty dismal.
Yeah, it's reaching the levels of Superstars.
Yeah.
And
I don't think I've watched an episode of Superstars.
I'm not going to watch a TV show on the internet. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think the last time I watched Superstars was...
When it was on TV?
When it was on TV, yeah. And even then, like, I didn't watch it, but maybe like, 3 weeks? 3 or 4 weeks?
And Superstars, that didn't last... I think the best thing that happened on Superstars was the debut when they had Undertaker come on, and that was it. I mean, I think starting week 2,
yeah,
they're just like, all right, fuck this show.
Yeah.
Which main event, it did last longer than I thought it would, as far as the format and everything.
They kept to that format until WrestleMania season.
Yeah.
Once Royal Rumble hit, boom, nobody cared about main event anymore, which is sad because they could use that extra hour of programming to build up some things going into Mania, not just recaps. Like WWE's idea of building WrestleMania is recaps, and that's not.
Yeah,
I don't think that works.
Yeah, it was, and we said this when it first happened, when it first came out, that main event, had almost like its own storylines going in there.
Yeah, it almost did.
One thing would kind of weave into another for the next match or next week. But anyway, that's that. Main event starting to suck. We like you said, we started at the same time as main event did, and it's kind of funny. Main events, their quality's going down. We're going up.
Oh, here we go.
I know you wanted to say that, but I figured I'd beat you to it.
I didn't want to jinx ourselves.
Dude, we're way past jinx.
Oh, okay. Yeah. This guy over here trying to toot your own horn, making it sound like a couple of douchebags. Like, oh man, we're great.
What are you talking about? I'm just stating a fact.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yes, well, we have been getting a few more hits.
Yeah, if that makes me a douchebag, so be it.
Well, I think there's plenty of other things that make you a douchebag.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
All right. Let's move on to the real, wrestling talk for WWE. Let's talk a little bit about, SmackDown.
I thought you said the real wrestling.
SmackDown and Raw are kind of the only shows that really matter nowadays. And even SmackDown, it's falling off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's falling off. Okay. I'll give you that much. But there was some stuff going into this week's SmackDown that I was a little upset about from the week previous. The whole thing about Mark Henry versus Ryback was going to be on SmackDown when that should have been, a WrestleMania match.
Yeah, you were crying for a while about that one.
I sure was. I was like pissed, and I was like, no, something's got to happen. There's got to be a way that's going to be a DQ or schmoz or something. Something funky's got to happen. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And
I think they just did a tie-up, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah, they did a tie-up, and then Shield hit the ring.
Yeah. And
this was after it was already announced that at Mania it was going to be Shield versus Sheamus, Orton, and they picked Ryback as their third member.
Right.
So I was like, what? Ryback's going to be involved with that. So where does that leave Henry? Whatever. And then that's when this match actually happened. Shield attacked Ryback, Mark Henry conveniently stepped out of the ring, which that happens a lot with Shield. The heel just conveniently steps out of the ring while the faces stay in the ring and get their ass whooped. You would think the faces would have learned by now. All you have to do to avoid the Shield is just calmly step out of the ring. That's all you have to do to avoid an attack by the Shield.
Apparently.
Yes. But anyway, that's what Mark Henry does. He calmly steps out of the ring. Ryback takes his ass whooping. The Shield leaves. Mark Henry delivers 3 World's Strongest Slams to him.
You know why?
Why?
That's what he does.
That's what he does. So it seems as though, and this is going to spill a little bit over into Raw, that Ryback versus Mark Henry is going to happen, which...
Well, they announced it on Raw.
Yeah, they announced it on Raw. That is going to happen at Mania, which I'm happy for. That's great that that's actually going to go down. And instead of the Shield versus Sheamus, Orton, and Ryback, it's going to be Sheamus, Orton, and Show.
Right. The Ryback and Henry match is official.
Right.
They announced that on Raw. The other one, the 6-man tag, that's not officially, but, Big Show, did his little thing.
Because Big Show was campaigning to be in the team whenever they had chosen Ryback instead.
Why do you beat the shit out of somebody and they has to be on their team? Doesn't make any sense. But it's WWE, so...
It's the world of wrestling, man. Come on. Yeah. They all beat the shit out of each other, They do it for a living.
Yeah.
So,
there's certain etiquettes, okay?
Yeah. But no, you do have to scratch your head a little bit at this whole booking. Like, why even try to make it look like Ryback's going to be in that match with the Shield? Well, why even do that? Like, it doesn't really make sense. It was like a story arc that lasted less than a week. What's the point of throwing that curveball in there? I mean, I don't know if that...
You know what, man? This, as far as WrestleMania goes, this has been kind of a crappy build-up.
Yeah, this hasn't been the best build-up for WrestleMania.
No.
I mean, we have the rematch, of Cena and Rock, which that hasn't been that big of a build-up. You have Lesnar and Triple H, which that's a rematch also. And, we'll get to the details of that, but their build-up's kind of been, whatever. And then Punk Taker, that's been pretty good so far. And then everything else after that's like, whatever. Things that are just kind of thrown together.
I was thinking of, every once in a while they like to do little taglines for Mania.
Yeah.
Like big time or, whatever, This year, let's call it WrestleMania 29. Predictable. Or WrestleMania 29. Mediocre.
WrestleMania 29, the one before 30.
Yes. Yeah. Because clearly that's what they're waiting on.
Yes.
But yeah, it's just the booking, it's not, besides being crappy, it just hasn't been making any sense.
Yeah.
And there's other things we're going to get into here in just a minute, I'm sure, about some of the other matches, but so far, it's not looking so good.
Yeah, and, I don't want to be overly negative and overly critical.
I will.
Well, I'm not saying that I won't. I'm saying I don't want to, but
I want to.
We are. You're such an ass. But, I don't know, man. It's just, it's leaving a lot to be desired there,
It's like I said, it's predictable. I mean, I can't remember the last time for a Mania build-up that we've been able to just basically call all the matches, before they've been announced.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, kind of disappointing.
I think so far right now, the only thing that we haven't really been able to predict as what's going to be on the card is stuff with the Divas and stuff with the U.S. title.
That's because WWE doesn't know what they're going to do with it.
Yeah.
Was it Antonio? He wasn't on Raw this week, was he?
No, he wasn't even on Raw at all.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, let's finish up this SmackDown talk here.
I already did that.
Well, there's one thing that I want to hit on.
Hit it.
Jericho versus Swagger.
Okay.
I thought that was a really, really good match. In fact, I want to say that's a match of the week candidate.
What'd you think of the lead-in for that match with now Swagger's moving on from just Mexico, now he's going to Canada.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. Well, I mean, we kind of saw a little bit of it when he was, when Zeb Coulter was kind of talking down to Wade Barrett because he's, an Englishman.
Yeah.
So, hey, you're going to discriminate against the people south of the border. Why not people north of the border?
I've said to my,
but it's clever.
Yeah, for myself, I've always said, I'm an equal opportunity hater, and I think I think that applies to Swagger and Zeb.
Yeah, definitely.
Even with Jim Ross, they hated him. He's a sympathizer, remember?
Yes.
So yeah, they're equal opportunity haters.
Well, yeah, and you kind of have to be a heel. You gotta hate everybody.
And
it's clever and it's funny.
Yeah, and when we get into Raw, he's finally actually doing heel things.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll let you get there first.
Okay. Well, the match itself, Jericho versus Swagger, I thought it was a good match. It was, I think, a good setup for Swag. Just to, I don't know, get a little bit more credibility. I mean, you got to win over Jericho. Finish him off with that.
He did beat him clean, right?
Yeah, he pinned him clean.
And now they're gonna have a rematch on this week's SmackDown.
They are?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They pay attention on Raw. They announced it on Raw.
I probably fast forward through that.
Part where
we're just talking.
You bastard. I didn't have a DVR this week, so I had to watch Raw. Raw?
Yeah.
No fast forward. I couldn't fast forward nothing. I couldn't pause anything. It was brutal.
Yeah.
But I made through it.
I thought you weren't going to make it there for a while.
It was on live support for a while. I did, just for kicks,
mm-hmm.
I went on the app during one of the commercial breaks.
Yeah.
During that triple threat match.
Mm-hmm. Just
to see the action it took it so long to load up on the app, and then by the time I got to, them filming for the match,
mm-hmm.
it stopped like 30 seconds, or no, it got to the end of it, and Michael Cole, they do commentary for the active thing also, and Michael Cole says, okay, we're going to go back to the USA Network now, and they were still doing commercials. There's still like two more commercials after that, so
it was just like all off.
For me it was, from my app. I don't know. I don't know how to work phones or apps, so I needed someone from WWE to tell me how to do that, and they weren't doing that this week, so I was just kind of winging it.
Yeah.
So
and that's what happens when you wing
it. Yeah. I don't know if I was doing it right or not, but
yeah, you probably weren't.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of user
error. It's a big blur to me right now. So.
Okay. Let's move on. Anyway, match of the week: Jericho versus Swagger. Let's get into the actual.
That's a candidate, right? That's not the actual match.
No, that's not the match of the week. Good. That's the match of the week candidate. All right. Let's talk about Raw. I want to talk about Rufus Pancake Patterson.
Rufus Pancake Patterson. Why do they call him Pancake?
Because he flattens everyone he fights.
You're supposed to say he flattens fools.
He flattens fools.
Yeah.
That's why. That was so friggin' awesome. I think it was because it was so random and it was so just out of left field. I mean, we talk about WWE being predictable. Nobody saw this coming at all from a mile away. It was great. I thought, once we saw Black Cena and, Cena regular, in a ring together at once, like, oh man, somehow there's going to be
Fruity Cena and Coco Cena?
Fruity Cena and Coco Cena, yeah. I thought there was like a rip in the space-time continuum or something, and somehow the universe was going to implode. No, don't look at yourself, because it'll affect your future or something, some sort of weird science fiction thing going on there.
That was about the dumbest thing you ever said. You call me out on my stupid shit that I say, so I'm calling you out.
Well.
Of course, you'll probably edit this out.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, I thought it was funny seeing that, but that right there wasn't the thing that really got everybody's attention and got that segment over. It was instead Titus O'Neil dressing up as Darren Young's, was it uncle or cousin?
Uncle.
It was uncle, right? Yeah.
Was he supposed to be Darren's uncle or was he supposed to be Titus's uncle?
No, he's supposed to be Darren's I thought he was supposed to be Darren's.
I thought he was too, but then I thought I heard I thought I heard Cole say something about he's Titus's uncle. Not that it matters. It's a stupid character he did, so whatever.
Yeah, but I hope that character is recurring. I hope he comes back because
he might not do that.
Funny.
He might just do different things.
Like a different character every
Maybe
week?
not every week, but I was telling you about this. We mentioned about signs of them breaking up, primetime players, and I think this might be maybe not a foreshadowing that happening, but they're putting a lot more. They're giving Titus O'Neil a lot more reign to be himself, I guess, or be more
creative.
Be more of a character,
Yeah.
more personality. And old Darren's he's just Black Cena. That's
Yeah. And he got in there and got his attitude adjustment and
with the quickness.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, with the quickness.
Yeah, with the quickness. And that's sad because of how awesome that debut of that new character was. And it's like, oh, okay, well, you had your fun. Okay, now job to Cena.
Which was funny because you could see Cena just laughing at the character. The way he was doing that.
Yeah.
And I think he might have went out of character for a second when people were booing, and he says, "Yo guys are booing, but y'all don't know these guys. These are, I think for a second, I think he was out of character for just for a split second. But,
He might have been.
yeah. Or trying to break the fourth wall or whatever you want to call it. Anyway.
Yeah. It was silly, and I dig the silly. Speaking of the silly, let's move on to Fandango.
Oh, jeez. I thought you said the silly.
Yeah, that's his character's another silly character, and a lot of people don't dig it.
We won't discuss this angle until you pronounce his name right.
Fandango. Is that good enough? Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You still suck.
Okay.
So, he actually came to the ring. He got a big, nice little curtain of whatever the hell that was.
I don't know what to call it other than a gimmick.
Yeah.
He's got his little entrance gimmick there.
Yeah.
Which not only was it that Arch's thing with the streamers, but he also had the hardwood floor underneath. Did you notice that?
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, they brought out this big panel of hardwood floor.
I didn't notice that. That's funny, actually. And of course, when he got to the ring, finally, after 10 minutes of dancing.
Yeah.
The little
pyro
logo,
of his silhouette.
Man, I had an immediate flashback of, like, 95,
Ultimate Warrior?
95, 96. Because Sid had one, Warrior had one. I think HBK might have had one at one point.
Probably.
There's a handful of wrestlers back in the day that actually had the little drop down little pyro things that had like logos or designs or whatever in them.
Do you remember the one with Aldo Montoya where he had the little spinning yellow and green sparklers?
That was not just incredible.
No.
See what I did there?
I do see what you did there. Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of digging Fandango, just because it's just so ridiculous, and I like ridiculous.
One, it is ridiculous in the fact that I do like one thing that kind of caught my eye on Raw was, if you notice these past couple of times that he's been making his first match or whatever, before that, they say Fandango premieres next.
Yeah.
He's been premiering. It says premieres next for. I think it's funny they're continuing that wording, premiere. So I can see that being a recurring thing. Like he's always going to be premiering, but he's not actually going to fight. So
yeah,
he's never. I don't know what they're going to go with this angle, but I guess on Raw we might have found out something with Jericho.
Yeah, him and Jericho had a little backstage.
Do you think that's gonna? Do you think Mania is going to be his debut, his actual premiere?
I hope not. And we could talk a little bit about that and transition into this next thing, which is Big E. I hope Big E doesn't have his debut at WrestleMania. And here's why.
I don't want to talk about this.
Here's why. For one rookie to debut at Mania, that's bad enough. For there to be two rookies debuting at Mania, you've done something wrong.
Technically. Well, not debut. Never mind. I was going to say the Shield, but they've already fought. So
they've already fought,
yeah.
and they've put on damn good matches.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of rookies, not
right. But I mean,
yeah, I see
we don't know what Fandango could do in the ring.
Apparently, nothing, because everybody chance he can't wrestle.
Probably. but it remains to be seen. You know, we don't know what his capabilities are. I mean, unless you watched NXT and watched Johnny Curtis, and he's supposed to be pretty good.
I would imagine if they do from that little backstage thing with him and Jericho, if that is going to lead into a match, if he is going to have a fight with Jericho at Mania, they have some faith in him. You know, to put on a match with Jericho at Mania, but
I mean,
it seems kind of random, though.
Yeah, it goes back to starting a rookie and having him debut at Mania. Like, I don't know if I'm behind that, and that's the same thing and the same way I feel about Big E. You know, if this winds up being his,
what you talking about, man? He's the NXT champion.
Well, I mean, that's true. I mean, yeah, a lot of people can like discredit my argument by just saying, "Oh, well, just watch NXT, you stupid Mark that doesn't watch NXT." Like,
I've only said that once, okay?
Okay. You know, but no, I don't regularly watch NXT. We've seen just a few episodes here and there, and that's about it. But for those people making that argument there, I want to disregard that because NXT is the training ground. That's where the training wheels are.
Yeah, they keep it separate from WWE.
They keep it separate, but also the quality of the caliber, I don't want to say quality, but the caliber of talent that's in there and the matches they put on, it's not as high profile and high pressure and with, you know, these other bigger named and more veteran superstars. You know, I don't want to say that they're bad, because they're not bad. They're just people in training, and it's kind of like saying you want to take a guy who's an all-star in college and then throw him into the Super Bowl, you know, right before, you know, straight from college and putting him in the Super Bowl.
I don't understand that reference at all.
Shut up. You know, like...
I get what you're saying. I got you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Don't toss him in there in the main event or in the biggest show of the year.
Yeah.
Let him, you know, pepper that guy in somewhere else, you know, and then let him go into
let him be the main event at, like, Survivor Series or something. Or that's if you have to have the guy debut at a pay-per-view. Yeah. You know, you put him on freaking SmackDown and make him work his way up, you know?
That's funny that we're talking about. I'm just thinking about this. We're having people debut at Mania, and we're having WrestleMania quality matches on free TV. True.
I see where you're going with this. You want to talk about the Miz versus Jericho versus Barrett. I don't know. I thought that was a pretty good match. I would also say that would be another match of the week candidate. It, you know, went to an actual clean finish, but that damn Divas roll up of doom, man. What the hell?
It works in triple threat matches, I think, because it's a heel thing to do, you know.
True. But, I mean, we saw it at Chamber, you know, the little sneaky roll-up, you know, that's how Swagger won.
But you're okay with that?
I was, but now there was, like, another thing. Damn, there was an example of another match where the same thing happened, where it was just, sneaky roll-up at the end. And it seems to be, in the last 2 or 3 months, we've had a rash of these sneaky diva roll-ups at the end, and, you know, that type of thing happening. And I don't know if I'm cool with that. Maybe once every now and again, yeah, but I don't know.
Well, it happens. This wacky world of wrestling.
I don't know. What else do you think about that match, man?
It was a better exchange with Miz and Jericho, I thought. And when Barrett was in there, at some points it seemed like they were a little off just by half a step with Barrett. But, you know, that's just my opinion.
Okay. I thought that superplex that they did was pretty cool.
Are we going to talk about the Tower of Doom that that WWE likes to do now all of a sudden?
Well, I think that's trademarked by TNA. You can't.
So what do we call it? We can't call it a Tower of Doom in WWE?
It's just a superplex, I guess.
Can't call it a superplex.
Superplex?
A super ultra superplex.
Megaplex.
Yes. Ooh.
Well, wait a second. That's not what I meant. Okay. Anyway, yeah, good match. Couple of good spots.
The Tower of Boom.
Now you're just jumping all over the place here. No, come on, let's stay on track before we get to that.
Gotta keep things interesting, man.
Yeah, well, yes. But you're throwing everything off. Okay. You know, in all that, in the shuffle there, we kind of missed a little bit about we alluded to it with Big E debuting at Mania, but Dolph and Big E versus Hell No at Mania is apparently going to happen.
Is their tag team name going to be Ziggy and Big E?
I don't know, but you
might as well
call them that, Ziggy and Big E.
Fuck it, why not?
Slap that on the back of a T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what my coworker Arnold tweeted. He's like, that T-shirt sells itself.
That being aside,
I think it gives Dolph a light load, I guess you could say.
A way to win a title at Mania without it being...
Well,
he's gonna win a title, but...
No, I don't think they're going to win. But
no?
What I was going to say is that it kind of gives him a match, so people will think, oh wait, he had a match, so he's not going to cash in. But he could have like light duty on that match, have Big E do most of the stuff, and
light duty.
He comes and tags in every now and again, and like that's it. So he's okay, to fight later on in the night to cash in the Money in the Bank.
He doesn't get powerbombed through the stage or anything.
Right, yeah. Nothing crazy like that's going to happen, and any big bumps or whatever will happen through Big E.
Ziggler doing big bumps? What?
Well,
what are you talking about?
Well, if Ziggler gets clothesline, it's a big bump for him. Like, he sells it like a big bump. But you understand what I mean.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe that's a good thing that maybe he'll cash in?
So you think this is a red herring maybe? Or
yeah.
Maybe that match will go on earlier in the show and...
Yeah. And that kind of flies in the face of what we've been saying before, or well, I've been saying at least, that I don't think Ziggler will cash in at Mania, because he has until like June or something to cash in. So, and I've said it like a couple of weeks ago, I don't think he's going to actually cash in. I think he's going to hold on to that briefcase past Mania. But with this thrown into the mix, it makes me think, well,
maybe they have something in store for him.
Maybe they do. Maybe he
They can win the tag team titles, and then you can cash in.
He can be a tag team champion and the world heavyweight champion. No, I don't think that'll happen. There's no way that'll happen. WWE is not fans of doing the dual title thing,
unless it's serving a purpose.
Yeah, even then, I don't know what kind of purpose I would have.
All right. That being said, what do you think of this? I guess feud for Mania? Hell No, and
I feel like that's thrown together, and it was a freaking afterthought.
I think so too.
I don't know why they decided to go with this. What changed in the background, or in the backstage rather? What kind of plan fell through? So now they have to throw this together. I don't really get it, because it seemed as though we were well on our way to having Kane versus D-Bry.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because we talk about, oh man, this WrestleMania build-up so predictable. Well, the thing that we were all predicting was Kane versus D-Bry, and that didn't happen. This match right here is the one curveball, the one thing that's not really all that
because it doesn't make any sense. It's like they just did that just to spite all the wrestling fans. Oh,
you think we're being too predictable?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Fine, we're just gonna toss this match together. Yeah, okay. That could be it.
Why not? That's the only rational explanation I can see for this feud.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Then again, I mean, we're not backstage. We're not involved with, creative and whatnot, so we don't know exactly what happened to make this feud come together, which seemingly has no reason for being together.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't feel like... I could see this feud being okay if this was any other time other than WrestleMania.
Yeah.
This is definitely a match they could put on one of the smaller pay-per-views or even SummerSlam or something, but...
Yeah, and there's one other small problem that I have with this. Why does a wrestler with a bodyguard all of a sudden get a tag team title shot? They're not an established tag team.
Right.
Big E and Ziggy. There's plenty of other established tag teams.
Well, let's not say plenty.
Well, there's several other. And at the beginning of the show, when we had Pancake out there doing his thing, they said, oh, the people want to see the primetime players. I'm like, yeah, the people want to see the primetime players. Like, why?
Well, you do.
I do. Why is Biggie and Ziggy ahead of the line of the primetime players, of the Puerto Ricans, of, the Usos. Well, we know why with the Usos, but these other tag teams.
The Usos? I don't know. And neither does WWE, apparently.
I guess you're right.
And it doesn't matter. It's a tag team match. It's not like it's a diva match, Or...
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I was just going over this before we started the show, but, there was that rumor of a diva match at Mania. It's like a 8-woman tag match.
I take that with a grain of salt now. I mean, it could happen because WWE's fans of taking all the divas and throwing them in
one match.
One big-ass match, yeah. So, I can see that happening.
The one diva that's not there, Natalya.
I know. Instead, she's too busy dorking around with Khali. That's such a travesty.
The most talented female wrestler they have on the roster, and you wouldn't even know it. Right.
That's such BS.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that all we have about, the tag and the divas?
That's all WWE has on the tag and divas.
Let's talk a little bit about Ricardo's ankle. Ricardo Rodriguez had his ankle broke.
No, he didn't.
Just straight up, no, he didn't.
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
I want to see an X-ray.
Do you?
Yes.
No, I mean, that's obviously a work.
That's the one thing I've never liked about ankle locks. Like when the heel's doing it, and he's gone too far, and then they just put that extra emphasis on the turn, like they did something worse than they weren't doing before.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he just broke their ankle. You know, it's done. It's been done before, but it's just so silly.
Yeah. And it was funny, kind of.
It's just as silly as when Triple H got his arm broken.
Yes. And Cole going on like, this is the exact point when he broke it.
Yeah.
They showed it in slow motion, and like that.
I was waiting.
It looked like he was turning his ankle. My ankle turns that way.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's the ridiculous part.
Yeah.
But I was waiting for, kind of like what they did with Triple H's arm, and just take a piece of celery and,
put this, overlay the sound effect.
Yeah.
Of,
a little piece of wood or something, break it over the, over the microphone. He broke his arm, he broke his ankle.
Then.
Yeah. I won't be surprised if we see that like on SmackDown or next week's Raw when they do the recap.
When
they put some kind of sound effect of snapping bones.
Yeah, some little video package there. Some extra little somebody eating some Pop Rocks or something.
I'm telling you, man, piece of celery.
Foley artist over here.
Yeah.
But man, Ricardo sold it like $1 million though by screaming like a little girl.
Well, when it comes to screaming like little girls, can't we all just do that? It comes,
right,
pretty easily, I guess. For some people, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe for you.
Yeah. That's how I fight. Not in the face.
Start pulling on the weave.
Yeah.
Do a roll up. Yeah. You won. All right. Do you think this is the thing about Ricardo being injured? Ricardo's like the main focal point for Del Rio's face turn. Like, I feel that if it wasn't for Ricardo, I wouldn't be buying Del Rio as a face. So, I don't know if I want to see Ricardo injured and, like, out of the picture.
Who says he'll be out of the picture?
Well, maybe he won't,
Oh, he'll be selling that thing like he'll be
coming out on crutches.
He'll come in a wheelchair with his leg all propped up and everything. Yeah, he's not gonna be away.
He'll announce Del Rio while sitting in a wheelchair.
Yeah, someone will roll him out to the little entry.
Someone who'll roll him out will also be Mexican too.
Why not?
Because it stole the job of the regular American wheelchair pusher. And Zeb's going to make a point. You mean a nurse? Yes, a nurse, yes. And Zeb Coulter's going to make a point about it.
Right. When he's not too busy yelling at the Canadians.
Right, yeah. Those damn Canadians stealing our jobs. I mean, your jobs.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Let's move on to the main event, which...
We already did that.
Oh, did we? No, we didn't. Because the main event was a contract signing. It probably should have been what you're thinking of, the triple threat match for an Intercontinental title. Probably should have been that.
Actually, I thought you were talking about the show.
Oh, you mean main event of the show? Oh,
Anyway, I was disappointed in the fact that a contract signing took precedence over an actual really good triple threat match for the Intercontinental title, which I think should have been on WrestleMania.
right. That. I guess we're going to regress a little bit here. Why the hell?
Why the hell
is WWE putting on what could be an actual money-making match for Mania on free TV?
We said this last week because it was hyped up for this week's episode.
Yeah, that shouldn't. You know what? We're gonna wind up beating the dead horse if we get back on that.
Yeah, WWE sucks.
No, I don't want to say WWE sucks.
Well, I will. I'll say it for you because you're afraid to say it.
I'm not afraid to say it.
They ain't listening to us. WWE sucks.
Ah, jeez.
You can send a hate mail to me on that one, folks.
Yeah, whatever. Travis doesn't care.
I'll delete it.
Right. This match should be on Mania or should have been at Mania or something like that. Something with the Intercontinental title needs to happen at Mania, and it shouldn't be just something that's being taken care of on Raw. So
maybe he's going to go back and they finish this up so they can bring back Bo Dallas, and that'll be another rookie debuting on WrestleMania.
Oh my God, WrestleMania will be nothing but rookies debuting and rematches. Oh jeez,
that'll go back with my my little tagline for WrestleMania: mediocre.
I guess so. Fast forward again to the contract signing. Hey, at least Lesnar didn't talk.
It's a small favor out of that whole segment.
Yeah. Well, I like Heyman, and Heyman did a good job, being Heyman, and,
Yeah, but this time he didn't really do anything for me. He was like, okay, he's Heyman, but...
Yeah. You think it was because he was giving out too many of the examples of what the stipulation could be, and we knew it wasn't, so Maybe. It was like, dude, you're belaboring this. Come on, man, just get to the...
But he did say, he basically said it's definitely on a pole match.
He did! He did! We said that on the show.
I think Stephanie that was my idea.
Was that yours?
Yeah, I believe so. Come on, doesn't it sound like something I would say?
I don't know. I thought that was something I said. I'll have to check the tape.
I said Stephanie on a pole match.
Yeah, we'll check the tape. But yes.
Look at you trying to take credit for everything around here.
No, I seriously thought I did.
Just like a Mexican.
Oh,
where's Swagger? Where's Zeb at? Let me get them on the phone. I can't believe this. Not only are you taking my job, you're taking my my credit here for coming up with these ideas.
Whatever, man.
Hey, I want to mention something real quick about Raw in general and where they're at. Mm-hmm. They were in Philly.
No, they weren't. They're in Pittsburgh.
They're in Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Okay, close enough, ain't it?
Same state, yeah.
Yeah. What happened to that crowd?
I don't know.
I'm disappointed. What happened to all the hardcore fans that used to go there,
Man, I don't know. I thought the same thing too, because I noticed
that whole crowd
was
just
not that great.
They're like sitting on their hands or something.
Yeah, I noticed that crowd was not that great, and I don't know, maybe Pittsburgh, because whenever we talk about wrestling towns, you talk about Philly,
right?
And that wasn't Philly, that was Pittsburgh. So I don't know. Like, I would feel like if somebody up north were talking about us, like, oh, this is Dallas. No, it was Houston.
You do know,
like oh, Dallas and Houston are two different cities, dude. Yeah.
But you do know, Texas is way bigger than Pennsylvania.
True, but my point is that they're two different cities.
Right.
Dallas is like a good, 4 or 5 hour drive from
right,
here. Yeah. And I would assume it's something similar from Philly and Pittsburgh.
It can't be that far apart.
Well, I don't know. What, 3 hours? I mean...
We clearly never been out of Texas before, but I'm going to say...
No, I've been out of Texas before.
Yeah, well... apparently not up north, but...
Yeah, I've never been to...
States are a lot smaller up there.
Well, I know they're smaller, but... I don't know. Whatever. It's... The point is, it's a different town, okay? It's a different city.
Right.
All right, so maybe that accounts for some of it. I mean, you would expect it to be...
Yeah.
But it
Pittsburgh is still... I mean, I thought Pittsburgh was still a good crowd, too, normally. Not as good as Philly, obviously. Philly's the place to be, but anyway. I just thought that was weird. No crowd. Even when Paul Heyman was coming out, nothing really.
Well, I mean, maybe... And I'm sure some people out there would argue this, and they would say that, oh, well, it's just because Raw sucked so bad, that's why they weren't getting a crowd reaction. So maybe that's what it was. in general, I don't feel like this Raw was that bad of a Raw. There were so many people on Twitter and the internet just shitting all over this episode of Raw, saying it was just so bad and one of the worst that they've had, and, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it was that bad. I don't think
it wasn't terrible.
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't fantastic. It was kind of middle of the road. Like, they could have done a lot better, but it was, it had its ups and its downs, So, overall, it was okay.
So, about the contract signing.
Yes, that's what we were talking about before we got into all that stuff about Philly and Pittsburgh. Yes, about the contract signing. The big thing about the contract signing was figuring out what the stipulation was for the match.
Yeah.
And the stipulations that were being tossed out there by Heyman, they were getting more and more outlandish.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, well, they've got something really creative that they're going to do.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, no holds barred. Okay.
My first reaction was I assumed it was going to be anyways.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the rules were, I figured it was going to be no disqualification, whatever.
Yeah, like no holds barred. All right, well that sucks. That's stupid.
Oh, but there's a stipulation on top of that, Abel.
Oh, and what's that?
If Triple H loses, he retires.
Oh, well, great. That means
Raw will never be the same again.
yeah, that means the guy who wrestles twice a year,
the guy that came out of retirement to fight him, is going to have to retire.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, like that's. I don't know, man. That's just so ridiculous.
I was liking my idea with the fact that
Stephanie on a pole.
Oh yeah, but if they weren't going to go with that obvious choice, I was going to say it should have been like loser leaves town or loser has to quit or whatever. It puts it in both corners and not just if Triple H loses.
Yeah.
That way, if Brock doesn't resign or whatever the case is with his contract, that's his out.
Yeah.
But
so. And you know what'll make this even more ridiculous? Is if Triple H wins. If Triple H wins, then nothing happened.
You know what's sad? Whenever he said that stipulation about if he loses, then he retires, I immediately thought, oh, well, shit, he's not going to lose now.
Yeah.
I'm so used to Triple H, what we've been used to over the...
And you know what? You're right about that, because whenever I hear if one opponent loses, they retire, oh, well, they're obviously not going to lose. But in the case of Triple H, it seems as though, well, it makes sense for Triple H to actually, retire officially, because, he's only wrestling once every year anyway.
Again, okay, Brock wins, he beats him, Triple H retires again, and then Brock leaves? He doesn't resign or anything? He's done? So...
Well, I mean, why are you getting so caught up on Brock re-signing or not re-signing? I mean...
Because they made the stipulation. I mean, what happens after Reign?
I'm sure Brock will be around in another 6 months to fight somebody else at SummerSlam or something.
I guess, but then what's the point of the match then? Triple H doesn't fight anymore other than, last SummerSlam?
Right.
Was it SummerSlam?
Yeah, it was SummerSlam.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just it's such a letdown.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really care if this is what retires Triple H.
Yeah.
And then if Triple H wins and nothing happens,
exactly.
then it's who cares? I would have rather that stipulation not been in there at all, and then just, instead of having no holds barred, make it Hell in a Cell, or First Blood, or 3 Stages of Hell, or something more crazy, something more gimmicky.
Hey, since I couldn't fast forward it this week, I had to sit through the tout videos.
Yeah.
And one of the fans did say 3 Stages of Hell.
3 Stages of Hell. Yeah, that would have been cool.
He kind of looked like you too.
No, he doesn't. He looks nothing like me. Alright. There's one other thing that happened on Raw that was freaking awesome. And to steal a page out of fellow podcasters marking out, to steal a page out of their book, I'm going to say that this was the mark out moment of the week. Booker T getting, not inducted, but being announced that he will be inducted into this year's Hall of Fame class.
Yes.
That's freaking cool. That's awesome. I didn't see it coming at all. That, again, another example of something that wasn't predictable. So, hey, yeah, that's great. But we already had a stacked lineup for this year's Hall of Fame.
I said it before, I'll say it again. The Hall of Fame's looking better than the actual pay-per-view.
Yeah, this year's Hall of Fame just seems really freaking good. And this has just topped it all off for me here. And I really think that they're going to really play up the Harlem Heat stuff, because they're going to be in New York for, so I think...
I don't know about all that, but who do you think is going to induct him?
Stevie Ray.
Really?
Well, it's not going to be Benoit.
You had to go there, didn't you? I mean, who are you talking about? I wouldn't mind seeing Goldust induct him.
That could work.
They didn't have a really long thing together, but it was still when they were together it was pretty cool. So I could see them.
Who's he had big feuds with? Triple H, Stone Cold.
Not really. He hasn't had really big feuds. He's had like short feuds.
Yeah.
Like the only thing I remember about him and Stone Cold was the grocery store fight.
Right.
And then when he jobbed out to Triple H at WrestleMania.
WrestleMania 19, yeah.
Yeah. I remember everybody got so pissed off at Triple H.
Oh, I know.
I think that was the start of it, or was that the start of everybody hating Triple H, or was
it was no. I think people have already started hating
at that point.
H
It was starting to kind of trickle in.
Yeah.
And I can't. Other than I think Benoit from WCW. I really can't remember any really big, huge feuds that he's had. What about when he was King Booker?
Who do you fight when he was King Booker? Booker. Cena?
No, I don't think so.
No, he didn't fight Cena.
JBL? See, we can't even think of who we fought.
Yeah. He's had a great career. He's done definitely. A lot of stuff. Absolutely. And he's had multiple title reigns, but I can't think of, iconic feuds involving Booker.
Other than Benoit.
Other than Benoit.
But I remember lots of moments of his career.
Yeah.
Like I said, the Stone Cold Brawl, the Booker Dust, or that tag team.
Yeah. Boogie, man. All the stuff he did with Boogie, and how Boogie was always scaring him and Sharmell.
That's true, yeah. That was a thing that was going on for a while, Not really a feud, I don't think, but...
It was kind of a feud.
Yeah. See, again, it's moments. He's had a lot of really cool moments in his career.
Yeah.
Plus not Spinneroonie,
Yeah. Who did Harlem Heat always feud with?
Oh, geez. Basically all the tag teams in WCW. Steiners, Outsiders.
There was tag teams in WCW?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'll explain it to you later, man. Yeah, Steiners, Outsiders, Public Enemy.
Mm-hmm. Road Warriors.
Nasty Boys, Road Warriors, yeah. So, yeah, he had more feuds as a tag team.
Yeah.
But, he was in a tag team with RVD, their tag team champs.
Yeah, they were.
And that was what started his, I remember that, because that was the start of the brand split, and that was one of the drafts, and they got drafted over to SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
RVD was like, oh, hey, we're on SmackDown, and Booker's like, he was pissed because he was on the B show.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to be back on Raw, and that's what turned him heel, initially. Yeah. Or not initially, but he went back to being heel when he went back to SmackDown. Right. And that's what led into a feud with him and Undertaker.
Yeah, him and Undertaker had a good feud.
Because that was right after WrestleMania 20 and Undertaker was back.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of his first feuds, Undertaker's first feuds back when he came back as the Dead Man.
Yeah. I mean, he's fought with everybody and he's done a lot of stuff, but it's never been for prolonged periods.
It's not a definitive Austin McMahon type of feud.
Yeah.
The sad thing is, like I said, one of his best feuds was with Benoit, and they're not going to be able to show any of that.
They're not going to be able to talk about it at all. Mm-hmm. That's so... Oh, man. I mean, that makes us upset, but I'm sure it makes Book upset, you know? Because, just from knowing Book, because, he's from here, he started up the school here, we've met up with him a few times,
Book.
Whatever. What's up, Book? I know I know that he was really upset, with the whole stuff with Benoit, and if you ever been to his office in his school, he has all these figures, and I know that a couple of the more prominent ones were the ones for Eddie and for Benoit, and I know that really affected
Did
him.
he ever feud with Eddie? I want to say he did because they're both on SmackDown. I would imagine they crossed paths at some point.
They may have had a match here and there, but I don't think they had an actual
I don't
feud.
remember them ever like headlining anything. Or,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But, yeah, man, I mean, it's good stuff that he's in there. I think he deserves it. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely has had a Hall of Fame career, and it just makes, his little promotion down here a little bit more prestigious, you know, Booker T's ROW. That should be good for them, good for their business, good for their wrestlers. Now they can say, oh, I was trained by a Hall of Famer.
Right, yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool for everybody involved in that.
Yeah, so that's really great, and that was one of the better things from this Monday Night Raw episode. Yeah. All right, is there any other WWE talk that we want to get to?
Yeah. One thing that you didn't feel like talking about.
What was that?
The Undertaker CM Punk feud.
How did I skip that?
I don't know how you skipped that, man.
It's
It's a good thing you have me here to keep you on track.
True. We had the Earn Juggling.
He's so talented.
Yes, he is.
Although he did drop it and cuss, but...
Right.
Yeah.
I honestly wonder how many takes it took for him to pull off that whole segment, you know?
He could just be that talented.
Just did it in one take?
Well, it's not impossible.
Well, yeah. I don't know. That move that he did where
He rolled down the arm and... Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, you gotta have practiced that. Because that's not like a ball that's a uniform shape that he did
Right.
that on. He did it on this urn that's an odd shape, you know? There's no way that anybody just like innately knows how to do that, you know? They had to practice that, and I'm pretty sure that was a taped segment, you know?
Were you offended in any way about his impersonation of Paul Bearer or what he was talking about during the interview?
No, that's just how I am.
I mean, I'm the same way, you know.
Yeah, like...
He's a heel, that's what heels do.
Yeah, he's a heel, that's what they do. I'm always... You know, aside from wrestling, one of the other few things that I'm into is comedy. And, like, on Comedy Central, when they have, like, the shows like The Burn with Jeffrey Ross and, you know, the Justin Neck Offensive, where it's like all these jokes about too soon, you know, like that type of stuff. Like, that's how I felt this was. It's like, oh man, it's too soon to be joking about Paul Bearer. Come on, dude, he just died. But at the same time, it's like, this is great.
This is coming from the same guy that had Paul Heyman fake a heart attack right after Jerry Lawler. Yeah.
That's true. Yes. So I'm not surprised. It was great. It was. I have to give props to Punk, man. All that, the freaking juggling itself, like that's freaking awesome, and the promo was good, and him dropping it and going, oh shit, like that was great. I really think that part was planned, you know, because that made it more offensive.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you dropped it.
Yeah.
Oh man, like.
Oh, I definitely think the drop was on purpose.
Yeah, that was definitely on purpose. So
because if he's doing other shit, he could definitely have not dropped it.
Yeah, that whole thing was gold.
Yeah.
That being said, how do you feel about this feud? We have to keep revisiting this.
I'm okay with it. I go back and, you know, think about what you said. You know, a good match can make it to where the winner or loser doesn't matter.
Good matches fix everything.
Yeah. And as long as Undertaker can still go, that's the one thing, that's the one question mark for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just because he's Undertaker doesn't necessarily mean, you know, and a lot of people are going to hate me for saying this, but it doesn't necessarily mean he can still pull off 5-star matches.
Right.
You know, he hasn't wrestled since Mania?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, unless you want to count Waco.
Yeah, that's true. But that was like a tag team match, whatever. Whatever. But, yeah, so a big match, pay-per-view match he hasn't done since Mania.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see what he can do.
Well, you know, my whole thing about it was that I don't really want either guy to lose.
Right.
You know, that's what my big problem is. And if the match is great, that's awesome. But even if the match is a freaking 5-star match and Punk wins, I don't think Punk should be the one to break the streak. I don't think there should be a break to the streak. If Undertaker wins, then damn, that means Punk's lost so many pay-per-view matches in a row.
But, we said earlier that because of his title reign, that is his legacy.
That's
so
true.
It doesn't really matter.
I think a loss would hurt Undertaker more than it would hurt Punk. So maybe, God, and like this pains me to say this. Maybe I want Punk to lose this match.
You do.
You know?
You want Punk to lose. Everybody wants Punk to lose.
Yeah.
Although I did like it during.
But I'm such a big Punk fan.
Okay, we get it. Yeah, you love Punk. Okay. The one thing during his promo, in the middle of him tossing around the yard and everything, is he did say one thing that I thought was interesting. He says, "I will take the burden of being the guy who broke the streak. You know, I will be the hated guy. You know, that will, you know, be forever the guy that I'll be the one. The 21, I'll be the one. I'll take that burden."
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was a nice delivery of what
definitely.
Yeah, you know.
Punk's freaking masterful when it comes to, you know, talking.
Yeah. And, you did notice, you know, if you think about last month or so, he's been away from Heyman.
He has. Heyman's been doing all this stuff with Lesnar.
Ever since we were thinking they should do the stable, and they didn't do that, he hasn't been with him at all.
I know, and that's... I mean, it's fine, because Punk can hold his own as far as talking goes.
Yeah, between Lesnar and Punk, Heyman needs to be with Lesnar.
Right.
Absolutely. So
I still feel very disappointed that they didn't go with this whole Heyman Bunch stable type thing. That's such a lost opportunity. Now it feels like the Shield is just fighting any trio of top faces that they can, you know, get together with and aimlessly doing it. Like they're talking about, justice. Well, there's no justice in this whole feud with Orton and Sheamus.
Yeah, you can't even justify it anymore.
Yeah,
no pun intended.
well, I mean, what injustice has there been? Like, they haven't done anything. They've only been feuding with them.
If you go back to the beginning of the Shield, when they would say injustice, at first a couple of times,
at the beginning, it was something very specific.
They had to explain it, but yeah, it was. But now it's
just these are guys we're feuding with. So they feel very directionless. Yeah. And then of course there's the Lesnar thing, which Heyman's very attached to with Lesnar. So okay, that's great. But Heyman's not involved with anything with Punk, and Heyman's not involved with anything with Brad Maddox. So it's like all those people that could have been in that stable, the ones that aren't with Heyman anymore seem directionless, you know? I mean, I don't want to say Punk's directionless now, but it kind of seems like there could have been more stuff for him to do if he would have stayed in that, if that stable would have came about. Like, I think that's a really big missed opportunity.
It would have made it, okay, if Punk and Heyman were still together with Shield and, you know, if they're all a group, like we were saying, I think that would put his match with Undertaker more in jeopardy for Undertaker. You know, because now we're thinking, okay, Punk's got all these guys with
all
him.
this backup.
Yeah. You know, and what does Undertaker have, you know?
Yeah.
So this could easily been, you know, Shield coming out and attacking Undertaker, which that could still be a possibility.
True.
They could say that the streak is an injustice.
They could. Yeah.
Ooh. But, you know, I think it was on a house show, so it probably doesn't want to matter, but I think it was on a house show this past weekend. The Shield came out on the little promo, and they said they're gonna take out everybody.
Okay.
So that's a definition of directionless.
Yes, we're gonna beat up
everybody.
Everyone. Speaking of beating up everyone, let's talk about a different group that's beating up everyone. Let's talk about the Aces and Eights.
Oh shit! Okay, we're switching gears altogether here.
Yes,
we're switching vehicles. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
I think this episode of Impact this past Thursday was a good episode of Impact. I might even venture to say that Impact was better than Raw.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, I'm not 100% behind that statement, but I'm saying that
there's more potential.
Yeah, there was potential there. I thought this Impact was really good, and I feel like TNA is starting to kind of turn a corner here. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not ready to put all my eggs in that basket yet, but it seems as though they're starting to go that direction and starting to pick up steam. And
Ever since the thing with Aces and Eights and Bully coming out and everything, I think they're going to be starting going more. They're getting more fluid with their storyline telling. I think.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's going to be a straight rehash of NWO or not. Yeah. If that's what it takes to have a coherent storyline, so be it.
Well, let's talk a little bit about NWO and the Aces and Eights again. On this episode of Impact, at the very, very beginning of the show, we were going to have a tag team match with the Mexicans versus Rude and Aries, and it never got started because the Aces and Eights attacked the Mexicans before they even, got done getting into the ring. And you said, before we started this show, that was very NWO-esque.
Yeah.
That was something that NWO did all the time at the beginning of every Nitro.
Every Nitro, yeah.
Two WCW guys would come out to have a match. No, NWO came out and beat them up. And what I think was interesting was that after they beat him up, Bully got a mic, Bully started talking, and one of the things that he had said was, in regards to Hogan and how Aces and Eights is so much better, he had said, we did in one night what NWO could never do. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was interesting. That one line there was interesting, because it kind of indicates that they know that they're rehashing an NWO storyline.
I think they have to. I think,
at this point it's so obvious.
Right. And that might be the writers of TNA. They're like, maybe when Ace and Eights first started out, they were so focused on it not being an NWO rehash to where now it's like, fuck it. It's an NWO rehash. I mean, what else can you call it,
Yeah.
So, it's definitely very reminiscent of everything they've been doing,
Yeah.
But is that a good thing or a bad thing? If they can pull out a decent storyline out of it, does it matter if it's a rehash?
For right now, I want to say it's okay. For right now. I said this last week. They're skating thin ice, man. It could go south real quick. Real quick. And I think the key is that in the end, Aces and Eights have to get their asses whooped and they have to lose.
Yes.
They can't just get out of control, take over the company, and it's no longer TNA, it's Aces and Eights.
Right.
I
agree. Yeah.
That's what has to happen.
That's what WCW was afraid to do.
Yes. And here's why. In WCW, the NWO, they were a heel faction, but people cheered for them and bought their merchandise like they were faces. So they didn't want to kill them off because they were going to lose all the t-shirt sales from the NWO t-shirts.
Right.
But with the Aces and Eights, somehow they've managed to keep the Aces and Eights heel where people don't buy their t-shirts, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
I disagree with you, sir.
Okay.
Last week I did, because this was the case. This week, when Impact started and they were all coming out and everything, where Bully was talking, I heard smatterings of cheers and chants for Bully. And there was a row of guys wearing Ace and Ace t-shirts.
And Bully did even say in that promo about putting their shit on merchandise stands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they're actually acting like they are trying to actually take over the company.
Right.
We saw over the weekend on Facebook and Twitter, Bully tweeting all these tweets, and posting.
He's really playing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that kind of happened on Impact too. He was making phone calls to Brooke and...
Yeah. When they were sitting backstage drinking beer and
really
stuff.
Really hamming it up, yeah.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if anybody caught this or not, but, over the weekend, and this is how TNA works, as far as working storylines, they'll do it on Twitter.
Okay.
Dixie Carter, yeah.
It's a little or no fanfare.
Yeah. D-Lo said something, and then Dixie tweeted, this smart move of yours has cost you your job. Congrats.
Dixie told that to D-Lo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was a retweet from D-Lo saying, good morning to all the Ace and Eight supporters out there.
Okay.
And that's when she said, you're fired, whatever. And then D-Lo, I don't know if this means he's gonna go back to wrestling or not, but he says, now that I don't have to worry about those damn office he misspelled responsibilities. Maybe it's time I focus on restarting my previous career. So maybe he's just going to be another member of Ace
another
and Eight,
wrestler.
another wrestler, Maybe.
Maybe. whatever. So what?
Well, I'm just saying, it
Yeah.
was because they had talked about during Impact, they're saying, fire us, you're not going to fire us,
Yeah.
all this other stuff. So,
That's another point I really want to make about this Impact. And that's something that I actually don't like.
okay.
That all of a sudden now, on this past week's Impact, it's a thing that they could have fired all these Aces and Eights guys. Well, hold the phone there. Couldn't TNA have been firing these people all along as they were getting unmasked? Like, hey, look, it's that one guy we just signed to a contract, Luke Gallows. Okay, you're SNH, fired.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike Knox, fired. Wes Briscoe, fired. Jared Bischoff, fired. Like, why now all of a sudden it's an option to fire everybody?
Well, the authority figure always says, firing is too good for you. We're going to make you pay in the ring.
And that's exactly what freaking happened on Impact. But you were saying over the weekend, Dio got fired.
Yeah.
So wait.
But before this, to answer your question, maybe since D'Lo was in the office, maybe he was maneuvering things to where they couldn't get fired or whatever. He had some stroke in the back.
He gave him ironclad contracts.
Maybe. He was hiring them, right?
I guess so.
Storyline wise, yeah. Wasn't he the...
Yeah. He didn't hire Devon and Bully. They've been there since before he's been there.
Yeah. I don't know. They never... That's the one thing I could not stand whenever they did announce it was D'Lo as the VP. It's like, I didn't give a shit less.
Yeah.
But they were making a big deal because he's one of the office guys.
He was an inside guy.
He was office. I was like, well, what was his job? What did he do? Was he creative? Was he, what did he do?
He was just a road agent. What do road agents do? Fuck if I know.
all I know from D'Lo was that he would break up brawls.
Yes, he would come out and... All right, guys, break it up, guys.
Yeah. That's what he did when Kurt Angle pointed him. That's him. That's the guy. And that's when he was breaking him a fight.
Yeah. Whatever. And here's the other thing that I have about them getting fired. That implies that they were all hired in the first place. Right. At the very beginning of this feud, or the very beginning of this angle, rather, the Aces and Eights weren't wrestlers. They weren't contracted by TNA. They didn't have entrance music. They didn't have pictures of them to put on the later tonight, so-and-so versus the Aces and Eights. Like, they didn't even have a picture. It just showed a little card, an ace card, and that's it.
Right.
So, that whole time, they weren't actual wrestlers. They were some sort of outsider biker gang. And now all of a sudden, they're all TNA employees.
Yeah.
And then they try to go with the angle of, they're ex-TNA employees, like with Devon. We didn't sign him to a contract. Technically, Devon's still not signed to a contract.
Well, then why does he have a title?
Exactly! Exactly. So it's too...
And why does anybody want to fight him for it?
Yes!
Where's your loyalty, TNA roster?
Yes, somebody challenge that man for that damn title, please! Oh, Jesus. Ugh. Woosah.
One of the differences I will say between Aces and Eights and NWO relates to this side of things is why don't they just get fired? NWO, Eric Bischoff is the boss.
Right.
He's bringing them in for NWO.
Right.
Who's letting these guys in for Aces and Eights?
D'Lo. Not anymore, because he's fired. But what? I don't know, man. It just don't make sense.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That if they could tie up these loose ends somehow.
Yeah, there's loose ends and foundational problems.
Right.
But if you were to ignore the foundational problems and just get to the
because we're picking it apart.
Stuff.
We're really picking it apart. Yeah.
Yeah, we're putting this thing under the microscope right now, or here right now. Right. But I mean, if you weren't looking at that, and you were just taking it at face value, then yeah, this is a good storyline. There's a lot of good stuff that they got going for themselves there.
For TNA, yeah, this is one of the most cohesive storylines, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or at least ongoing, consistent,
Yeah.
I'll give them that. It's consistent.
And I would say that people care about it.
Well,
and I mean, you don't think people care about it?
They're buying t-shirts, so yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah. And that's a good thing, I think. Now, let's move on to some of the other stuff that happened on this week's Impact. We had Robbie E versus Robbie T, and...
Can we stop calling him Robbie T?
Okay, Rob Terry.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Because that's how they announced him after all, as Rob Terry.
Right.
But here's something that kind of just stuck in my craw a little bit.
Oh, no. I hate when things get stuck in your craw.
Yes.
It's so nasty.
Here's the thing. They still announced him and billed him as being from the Jersey Shore. Part of the whole reason why he turned on Robbie E is that he was announcing people, or he was, Robbie E was insulting people from the UK.
Right.
And, Robbie T was taking umbrage to that, cause he's from the UK.
Right.
And that was like part of the storyline, but they're still billing him as from the Jersey Shore. Like, storyline wise, that's not consistent. Like, if you wanted to play up the fact that the reason why he turned was because Robbie E was being an ass in the UK, and Rob Terry's from the UK, you would think that when Rob Terry came out, you would announce him, Rob Terry from, Wales. Like, you would say that he's from there, instead of from the Jersey Shore. Like,
right. That's why this thing, it's not going anywhere. It's because they can't even get their shit right on this.
Yeah.
Well, it's like in the pay-per-view, he was still billed from the Jersey Shore, and they were calling him Robbie T. The next show on Impact, he's still billed from Jersey Shore, but now it's Rob Terry. So I'm thinking, this coming
maybe
week,
next week,
maybe next week they'll finally get it all together.
Yeah.
It's a building process. You know?
Why make that a slow build though?
Because it's TNA.
Because it's TNA.
It's such a random WTF thing.
Yeah.
That it's just
You know
TNA.
what? I think that might be a WTF moment of the week.
There you go. Hot damn, we got one.
Yeah. Woo! You can't, it's not a week unless you have a WTF moment. There you go.
Technically, I think we have a whole bunch of them. We just didn't announce it.
Yeah. Well, Fandango versus Kali. There you go. Another WTF.
They didn't fight, so it wasn't versus Kali.
Well, the non-match. Let's move on away from that, cause, yeah, whatever. Robbie won. Whatever.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody cares. Let's move on to Bad Influence.
Which is a good influence for TNA.
Right. Bad Influence came out dressed up as a Legion of Doom, and they were in Chicago, which, we haven't mentioned that yet, that they were,
the first show away from the Impact Zone.
Yes, the first of their tour of the country, whatever, because they're going to be permanently away from the Impact Zone.
Thank God.
Yeah, about damn time.
Yes.
And I would say that was a nice looking crowd that they pulled there.
It was so refreshing to see another town on Impact for their show.
Yes, definitely, I would agree. And the fact that, I don't want to say it was a packed house, but there was a lot of people there. That's good.
Keep that in mind. Whenever you see a packed house on TNA, that's like a quarter or half of the state of the arena, like, blocked off.
Yeah, they probably block off, like, the upper decks, or upper
I
areas.
saw the seating chart for when they went to San Antonio.
Oh, yeah.
That thing was, like, cut right in half.
Yes, it was, yeah. But still, it's a lot more than what they had in the Impact Zone. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's good.
It looked, like I was saying.
It's progress.
Yeah, well, it's like, was it last year or the year before when they went to, I think it was Georgia? They did a couple shows for Impact on there. And like I said, it just gives it a more authentic feel. You know, it makes it feel like a real wrestling organization, you know?
Yeah.
Other than some attraction in a park.
Right.
You know?
Right. We kind of got sidetracked there. We were talking about the fact that they were in Chicago and Bad Influence dressed up as the Legion of Doom, who are, from Chicago. So on one hand, like, oh man, that's a great way to get heat. On the other hand, hey, what a cheap pop. Either way, they got a reaction out of the crowd. And when I saw them come out like that, I was like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding. And like, I was just laughing my ass off. I thought it was great. And the little promo that they had cut, and the whole reason why they came out actually was because they were going to do the whole thing about AJ coming back. AJ's music hit. He didn't come out, and then that's when Bad Influence came out. And then they just start, running their mouth, doing their thing like they always do, which is great. They're awesome heels, and you said this last week.
Yeah.
This is the most personality you've seen out of Daniels, and I would tend to agree. And that's really a good thing. He's putting on some awesome stuff. You know, he's doing some awesome work now. And then,
Like, I never would imagine 5 years ago Daniel's coming out dressed as one of the freaking Road Warriors.
yeah.
Calling the Legion of Boom.
Yeah, that's
Shaking his ass.
Yeah, that's what they call themselves, the Legion of Boom.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. That's pretty funny.
That needs to be like if TNA actually produces another video game, which is actually good, and they have them as a tag team, that should be like an alternate costume form.
Or like a DLC costume or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. That'd be great. I wonder...
Create a wrestler. I can do that right now on WWE.
Probably. I wonder if the more they travel to all the different areas, if Bad Influence will be dressed up as different local famous people, you know?
They could do something like that. It's kind of reminiscent of Edge and Christian when they go to different towns.
Yeah.
And, like if they're in, Memphis, they dress up as Fat Elvis and,
Yeah.
shit like that. They could be something like that,
I would like to see that be a recurring thing, where they're in some, town and they dress up as something to make fun of the town. Like, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That set up, who was it that fought James Storm? Was it Kaz or was it Daniels?
Daniels.
It was Daniels?
Yeah.
Okay, Daniels versus Storm. Who won?
Which really
I
doesn't
don't even
matter.
remember.
It
Doesn't really matter. And then at the end is when AJ came out,
Right.
finally.
Yeah, because Kaz came in and the disqualification.
And
whatever.
he beat up a little bit on Kaz before Daniels and Kaz were like running away, looking like they seen a ghost,
Yeah.
looking at AJ, and then that's when AJ drills James Storm.
Yeah.
I don't think that this is a heel turn for AJ.
You don't?
No, I don't think, oh my god, he turned on James Storm, he's a heel. I think it's more of, he was attacking Bad Influence. Of course, he didn't fully get his hands on them. But he also hit James Storm. Not to say he's a heel, but more like, I'm still not in a good place type thing.
It's a heel turn.
No, I don't think so. I really don't.
Well, it's a good thing. I don't care what you think.
No, what I think it is he still isn't back to being the same old AJ. He's still not back to being in the right mind, so to speak. Like, he's still pissed off at TNA, he's pissed off at the world, and Storm just happened to be the guy that was there, and he hit Storm. He's going to continue to want to beat up Kaz and Daniels, because Kaz and Daniels pushes his buttons. But I don't think it was like a turn like, oh, I turned on James Storm, and now I'm with Kaz and Daniels. No, he was still mad dogging him and looking nasty at him, and there was still that tension there. So, if anything, it's a tweener turn at most. But I think it's more of a complex thing, like, we don't really know where his head's at yet.
Man, you went way in that. You put a lot of thought in that.
Actually, I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it. That just came natural.
Oh, gee, folks, I'm sorry. I'm just upset with this whole AJ returning thing, the way it happened. I still contend, we said this scenario last week, or 2 weeks ago, I don't know.
It was last week.
Yeah, where we agreed that the best possible scenario for AJ to come back would be the last surviving hero of TNA to take down Aces and Eights.
Yeah.
But they can't do that now because now he's stuck in a little mid-card feud with either James Storm or Bad Influence or whatever they're going to do with that. He's not going to have anything to do with Aces and Eights. Even if he is now, you kind of blew it with his first return. His first return, like at the end of the show, after the whole roster came out and got their asses whipped.
Right.
But anyway, I think, for folks who actually watched the end of the show,
here we go.
after Ace and Eights all of a sudden are badasses and can take down the whole roster of TNA. After that, and Bully Ray was still talking trash, that's when AJ's music should have hit. That's when AJ should have come out. All the Sting from from nWo,
Yeah.
he should be the Sting of now, just not without the face paint.
Right.
He should have been like the savior of TNA. I don't see that happening now.
Yeah. I still do, because I think it's going to be kind of a slow burn, so to speak.
But you shouldn't have that though.
No, listen.
I don't want to listen.
It's going to be a slow burn of a redemption story. Like, the first time we see him, he's still deranged. He's hitting James Storm. He doesn't know what he's doing or whatever.
How long to be deranged?
not deranged, but just he's not fully like, yeah, I'm going to save TNA. Like, I think that if he did do that, like we saw him last week with the long hair and running away from the TNA cameras and this and that, and for 1 week, he just turned around and boom, he's attacking aces and eights and being the savior. I think that would have been way too quick and unbelievable. That's why I think that this whole thing is like going to be a slow trying to convince AJ to be who he was and realize, look, man, we need you. TNA needs you. You need to get your shit back together and you need to get your rear in gear or whatever. And it'll take a slow turn, I guess.
In other words, you're kind of agreeing with me. And the reason I'm saying that, hear me out, is I compare this to him being Sting.
Okay.
When Sting first turned his back on WCW, he disappeared for a little, then he started showing up in the Raptors in black and white like he was part of nWo, but but he wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
And then every week, a different WCW wrestler would come out and say, Sting, we need you. Help us. And he wouldn't do anything. So we didn't know where Sting was. And it took a long time for that, and that was a good build-up,
Yeah.
So maybe we're on the same page, just at different points.
Exactly. Now that you say that, no, I agree with that. And so, I mean, I guess that kind of means you agree with me.
No, you agree with me.
No, you agree with me.
No, you agree with me.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess we kind of took a roundabout way to finally coming to terms of our different views on this issue. But either way, I still think AJ...
It's still NWO.
It's still an NWO rehash, but AJ needs to be that guy.
Sting.
Yeah, the Sting. The guy that's gonna save TNA from the aces.
Because I don't want it to be Sting that saves TNA.
Yeah, I said it last week. I'll say it again.
Yeah.
Sting needs to be Herschel. AJ needs to be Rick.
Right.
Oh,
Jesus.
Speaking of Sting being Herschel, is he going to be? Because it seems as though Hogan blames Sting for all of this.
He just ripped him a new asshole on TV.
Yeah.
Jeez. I wasn't really expecting that.
If you think about it, Hogan's kind of right.
Yeah.
Sting was the one who went to bat for Bully. Sting was the one who convinced Hogan, no, man, Bully's cool. Yeah, Hogan was the one that was skeptical the whole time. So, it kind of is Sting's fault.
Yeah, well, that's the one fallacy of Sting's career, was he's always trusting. Like in WCW, NWA, he would always, every time he got a tag team partner, they turned on him.
That's true.
Every time. That's why he's always been the face. But I guess this is a repeat of that, just on a larger scale.
I saw some conspiracy theories out there saying that because of this, Sting's going to join the Aces and Eights.
Oh Jesus!
I don't want to see that happen,
that's
and
not
I
gonna
hope that's not the
It's
case. It better not be the case.
Yeah.
Or it revealed that he was behind the Aces and Eights the whole time. Like that.
I just don't want it. I don't want it to be where Hogan hurt Sting's feelings.
Yeah.
So Sting's gonna be hanging out in the rafters now.
Oh,
and
and you'll never find Sting.
And then he's gonna start dropping down from rafters.
Yeah.
With a baseball bat, and he's gonna start taking out Aces and Eights guys, and he's gonna go back.
Yeah.
Every week is gonna be a recurring thing.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Where do you think this leaves Hogan?
I don't know.
Hogan's pissed. He doesn't really know what to do. He's blaming everybody but himself. Which, with Sting, he kind of has a point.
And he was really hesitant against Bully Ray, but then all of a sudden, he was supportive of Bully Ray the whole time.
Yeah.
Right after that. That's why, that was the whole bad thing about that storyline, because it was so fast with Bully's turn.
And that's why I don't want it to be that fast with AJ. AJ just 1 week is all disheveled, and the next week he's the savior of TNA. That's why I want it to be a slow thing, and that's why I don't think this is a heel turn. Sorry, let's get back.
So what are you trying to say, Abel?
What I'm trying. Anyway, continue about your Hogan stuff.
I'm done.
You're done?
I think. Did I have anything else?
I don't know. Just you're done. Okay, done. Fine. Whatever. Let's talk about the actual match with Sting and Austin Aries.
I really don't remember that much about it.
It was, I do remember enough about it. It was a bad-ass match.
Wow, that sounds like it's going to be match of the week.
I really, really wanted it to be. And
But-
in fact, it is a match of the week candidate. I don't... the butt comes at the end.
Well, doesn't
Where-
always.
Where
Come on, man, you left that one.
I know, I did. Where the aces and eights just kind of, came in at the end and ruined the match. The match itself was freaking 5 stars. It was great, solid, smooth,
And it's
fluid.
Austin Aries.
It was, Austin Aries, and he was pulling
I do
off
remember.
all
I
his-
do remember bits and pieces of Austin as being Austin Aries.
Yeah, there was like, they tried to do the brain buster, got countered into the Scorpion Death Drop.
That was good.
The thing where Austin Aries kind of lays across the top of the turnbuckle, like he tried to do that right in front of Sting, and Sting's like, no, and he like, he either hits him or kicks him or something. Like, there were so many little awesome pieces of that match that just made it great. And, just seeing Austin Aries elevate Sting's game, like that was really good too. You would think that it would be Sting elevating Austin Aries' game, but Sting, he's getting up there in age, so Aries kind of had to pull him along. So I think that was cool, and that says a lot about Aries as a wrestler.
Yeah.
That whole match was just
Up until the ending.
up until the end.
You're saying other than the ending, that would be, if it wasn't for the ending, it would be a 5-star. It would be the match of the week.
Yeah, if there was like a clean finish or something, or less shenanigans at the end, that would be stellar 5-star, one of the best matches from TNA all year. But then, Aces and Eights just kind of ruined it there at the end.
And that's what they do.
That's what they do. So, that being said, we have 3 match of the week candidates. We have from SmackDown, Jericho versus Swagger. And then on Raw, we had Miz versus Jericho versus Barrett, for the Intercontinental title. And then we had, Sting versus Austin Aries on Impact. Out of those 3, what do you think?
I'm going to go with the triple threat match.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was leaning towards.
Damn it! I'm not changing mine this week. You change yours.
No, I'm not changing it. Screw you. I'm not going to change it just because you have it. All right.
I hate agreeing with you.
All right, listeners, as always, chime in with what you think should have been match of the week. These are all our 3 candidates. If you have a different candidate, let us know, man. What?
I just thought of something.
Okay.
Something that just kind of tickled me watching Impact.
Ooh.
Yeah. Dirty Heels.
Yes.
Austin Aries, Bobby Roode. I know you're listening, guys, because
Aries and Rude are listening?
yes,
Okay.
they call them the Mexicans.
Yes!
Right after we said that.
Yes! Last week we called Hernandez.
We had a
and
big
Chavo.
little thing about that.
Yeah, we had a little back and forth. Say, oh yeah, they're the Mexicans.
Yeah.
And then,
Bam! Right there.
bam! Freaking, Aries. Aries called them the Mexicans, right?
Of course, Aries did.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I was gonna have a match with the Mexicans.
Yeah. Oh, I laughed so hard on that one.
Yeah.
There's that, and then right after that, there was a segment with Legion of Boom, and they said Throwback Thursday.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, we do that on Facebook. Hey!
Hey!
You guys.
Yeah.
How y'all doing? Give us a ring.
Right. Come on our show.
Right.
So we got match of the week out of the way. Is there anything else from Impact that you want to bring up?
No, I can't think of anything.
Okay.
No, I mean, that's pretty much, that was pretty much the gist of it.
Yeah. Like I said, overall, I think this Impact was pretty good. They're skating on thin ice. This could go south really fast. But as of right now, they're walking that line, man. They're pulling it off. So it's weird to say that during WrestleMania season, Impact had the better week, when WWE didn't. So, I mean, that's kind of strange to say.
Well,
during WrestleMania season, it shouldn't be like that.
It is a little strange, but, Impact is, or TNA, they are kind of, changing up things, with the limited number of pay-per-views,
Yeah.
And they just came off a pay-per-view that actually culminated something,
Yeah.
and it's actually forwarding the storyline, which is a big thing, a big complaint we had before. And now we can see what they can do now with the limited amount of pay-per-views.
Yeah.
So
Hopefully they keep it up.
yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. All right. I think that's all we have for our wrestling talk for, big promotions and whatever. So let's kind of move on here. We don't really have a whole lot to say about indies this week. the one big thing today, which, today's Tuesday. If you're listening to this, it's probably Wednesday or after Wednesday. But today, Tuesday, ROW, released their newest episode on YouTube. So go to YouTube and check it out. Booker T's ROW. You can watch the episode on there. And, hey, it's some good stuff. I hope you guys are kind of, keeping up with it. There's a lot of good stuff that goes on there. And then, of course, go out to the shows. I believe the next show's, I can't remember if it's April 12th or April 13th.
Well, it's a Saturday.
Whichever day is a Saturday, that's when the next
Which is
show
the 13th.
Is it the 13th?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know? You just pull this shit off the top of your head.
Well, Abel. Hate to say anything about myself, but it is my birthday.
Oh, that's right. It's the same day as your birthday.
Yes.
Well, I guess I know where I'm going for your birthday. Going to the ROW show.
Thanks, pal.
But I'm gonna wear our snazzy new blue Houston Wrestling Radio shirts.
Yeah.
Yes. So those are some pretty awesome, sweet threads. You should check them out. And maybe you want one of these days.
If anybody wants those, as Abel says, snazzy shirts, email us. Let us know. We can, if we get enough requests, we can maybe see about actually getting some ordered here.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. So, ta-da! Now, who was it that designed those shirts? Well, I'm glad you asked. It was none other than our friend of the show, Aaron from Awesome AG Designs. Check that out on
He's the
Facebook.
AG.
Yes, he is the AG. Yes, it's his Awesome Designs. Awesome AG Designs. Check that out on Facebook if you need any t-shirts, logos, banners, what have you, designed up, anything graphic artist-wise. Check him out. Our guys that do our music, Narworld Order, they're going to be having a show on the 23rd. It's going to be at a place called the Ponderosa, and, well, they say that they're starting the party at 2 o'clock in the morning.
So, in other words, guys, I'm sorry, I won't be able to make it because my house will be asleep.
Yeah, we're freaking old people here. But if there's any young, whippersnappers, that can party hardy all night, go and check these guys out. They're good dudes. They make our music, so you've already heard a little bit of their stuff. And they got, more of that, because they write music and perform music.
Yeah, it's like they're musicians.
Yeah, they actually do stuff. They're a band.
Crazy. Crazy talk.
So check them out. Also check them out on Facebook. Just do a Facebook search for NAR, G-N-A-R, World Order. And then, of course, on Twitter, at NAR World Order. Alright, let's see here. I got another little cheap plug. I forgot to mention about this last week. So I'm sorry, guys. But, Stoppage Time. That is our friend Scott. He decided he's going to do a podcast on something that he knows a whole lot about, which is, football.
Football.
Yes, or, what us Americans call soccer.
Soccer?
Yes. He's doing a podcast about the Houston Dynamo, because apparently Houston has a sports team that's actually good. Who'd have thunk it? Yeah, the Dynamo. And so he talks about them, and I think they're like 3 episodes deep. They just did their submittal.
Submittal?
Is that what it is? They submitted their thing to iTunes, so they should be up on iTunes within the next.
I like when we make up words.
Yeah,
it's fun.
They should be up on iTunes in the next week or so. So, or well, actually, not even a week, maybe the next couple of days. And they're already 3 episodes in, so check them out as soon as you get the chance. Also, we still have our little plugs for Shining Wizards, I think. I'm pretty sure.
What? You think?
I think. I don't know. I haven't heard from them this week, so.
Well, isn't that a plug just right there?
Yeah, well, there you go. Go listen to Shining Wizards! ShiningWizards.com. They're another podcast, and, they have awesome interviews with a bunch of different people. I got to hear the one for Raven. That was the one that they did last week. It was pretty good. Raven's quite the, he's...
Raven is Raven.
Raven's Raven. That's all you can say. So, if you're a fan of Raven, check out their interview with him on, ShiningWizards.com. You can follow him on Twitter @WizardsPodcast. let's see. I think that's all I got for this week. I don't have any more cheap plugs to throw out there or nothing. You have anything else you want to add on there at the end?
Nah, you did everything for me.
Okay, cool. Next week, I believe that we're going to have Steve DeMarco on the show. He's going to be on here talking about, some of the stuff going on in the local indie scene here down in the Houston area, Texas area. He's been involved in the local indie scene for, quite some time now. So he's going to be a cool guy to have on the podcast. He is also going to want to be plugging the upcoming Texas All-Star Wrestling show, the Humble Rumble. And that's going to be at the end of the month on the 30th, March the 30th. And it's going to be at Coach's Sports Bar at 7 p.m. So, can't wait to talk to him and see what he's got to say on next week's show.
Looking forward to it.
Yep, so that should be a good one. Tune in next week, guys. It was kind of interesting having a break here this week from interviews. I think we got to spend a little bit more time talking in depth about WWE stuff, going into WrestleMania, TNA. So it was kind of nice. And hey, we're not going over 2 hours again, so that's a good thing, right?
Well, so far.
Yeah, so far.
We can just we can keep on talking.
We can sit here and talk about, I don't know, The Walking Dead for another 30, 45 minutes.
Did you watch last week's episode?
I did watch it.
What'd you think of it?
I thought it was
it's kind of a slow build to the
last 3 episodes. Nothing's really happened.
What'd you think of the scene with the injury chasing from getting chased by the governor?
That was cool. Yeah, I liked it, but that was like half the show.
Yeah, it was. That was what made it awesome.
Yeah, well...
it's suspense, man. It's suspense.
I know, it was suspense, but at the same time, it's like... It could have been like a few minutes shorter and something else, some other plot point could have happened in the show.
Gotta let it slow build, man.
Yeah, alright.
When the governor, when the zombies came in,
yeah,
and he got the shovel, he just went over and over.
Yes, yeah.
It's like, I think he's dead, man. Again. Yeah.
Yeah. The governor's crazy. What'd you think about all those melted zombies in the pit there?
Who do you think did it?
Well, on the Talking Dead,
yeah, I think
Andrea said that it was Milton.
Andrea didn't say it. Lori Holden, the actress,
right?
said it.
The actress, whatever. Yeah, she said, "Oh yeah, it was Milton." So I don't know. I don't think I would have pegged Milton as being the one that did it. I thought maybe someone from the prison just found it and decided to do that.
No, my first reaction was Tyrese. But if it wasn't Tyrese, then I would say Milton.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that it was Tyrese because it would have been a little bit too obvious.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. If it wasn't him, it was going to be Milton, I think.
I don't know. It just doesn't seem like Milton.
Yeah, that's my only thing.
And if Milton was going to sabotage the governor, he could have had so many other better ways to sabotage it than sabotaging the walkers.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. It's weird. I
don't think it was Milton.
Yeah. Well,
but then again, Lori Holden said it was...
maybe that was a red herring also.
Whatever.
Yeah.
All right, we're done.
Are we?
Yes, we're done. We're done. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next week. Adios. What do I normally say at the end? Keep it classy. Adios, my friends. Yeah, that's what I normally say. All right, bye.